What's up, everybody? It's that time of the day, that time of the week, that time of the month.
Yeah, baby.
You're listening to The Good,
The Band.
The Ugly. I'm Big Papa.
I'm Jeff.
And if we got a show for you,
It's going to be great.
let's slide this music out.
All right.
Slowly. Because you have to slide it out slowly. You
It's
can't.
almost like,
You just rip it out, you get yelled at.
you think?
That's what I've been told.
Oh, good. Oh, good for you.
So we have got a great show planned for you today. We have the one and only Stoney Curtis. Yes, I said Stoney Curtis. I didn't say Tony Curtis because he's cooler than Tony Curtis.
Yeah, he is.
So Stoney's going to pop his camera on, and he's going to join us right now. Look at that. Like it was on cue.
I know, that's great,
Like he knew we were waiting.
I followed instructions well.
There you go.
Cool.
Better than a lot of
Than a lot.
other ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, the other one that got it really quick was also from Vegas.
From Vegas, yeah.
Must be the Vegas mentality
It
that
is.
they get it.
Is it this guy here? This one?
Look at
Hey!
that.
Oh,
He's kind of he's a little bit of an attention whore.
That's okay.
We do love him
Yeah, we do.
immensely.
yes.
It's
Yes.
Jeff Tator, everybody, the man of 77 different bands.
Well,
I think it was
77.
76. Did you name it Count 77 because, Jeff, that's the 77th band? Or
Right. That was Jeff's. This was he was leveling out at 77. So we go, well, this is your 77th band. So seems perfect.
Yep.
People still ask me what, if he's going to be a regular on here, and
He
he's
is.
turning into it, and it's awesome. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he should be.
He should be. He's the one getting us all our guests.
Yeah, he is.
And I got the $7,700 paycheck in the mail.
Yes,
I
yes, you
just
do.
sent it. I just
Oh, sorry.
I'm a liar.
Anyways.
Las Vegas.
Lost
Oh,
Vegas.
Lost Vegas.
Lost in the mail.
Yep.
Right.
The home of the big.
I sent that like a month ago.
Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
did. In fact, we could wait to air this, and then
It'll make it there,
it'll
maybe.
make it there by then.
Who knows?
I told him that one day when Jeff was on. I said I should have just sent you a pizza. We were
Oh, that's
contemplating
right.
it.
We were, too.
I said, look, dude, let's fuck with him right now. We will
Yep.
send him a pizza
Send
to
him
his
a
house.
pizza to his house.
So
That's what you were telling me that, and
Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're still waiting? Oh, still.
yeah, he should be there.
Oh,
you're
still
not
hungry?
at home. That's why.
Right.
Well, I'm leaving in a minute, so you could actually talk to Stoney here. So.
Nice.
Well, finally, we can finally
I'll
have
check.
a guest of caliber here. I just
Stoney won't disappoint.
I like pizzas too.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
hey,
wow.
we'll
Okay.
have to hook it up. We'll just, In
Done.
fact, I think he gave me the name of a brick oven pizza near his house.
Near his house? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
know
that
they.
Jeff likes.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
think they had pizza shops in the hood, but that's all right. I mean,
Huh. I didn't know there was a hood in Vegas.
oh, there's
Well,
hoods everywhere.
There's definitely a hood. There's definitely several hoods in Vegas, but
Yeah.
pizza would be good to send to Jeff because he won't need any utensils to eat him. Because
Well, that's all right.
sometimes a lot of his utensils disappear somewhere.
Great.
Yeah, like in my car. Underneath the seat, magically, somehow.
Nice.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
Well,
Hey.
I'm going to let you guys talk. I might be there again in September and October, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, well, for that thing that we talked about.
What's that? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. For the Booty Foundation,
Well, that's hopefully be in October,
right?
looking like it. And then maybe the Femmes in September, but it's still being worked on, so.
Yeah, as long as it's
Okay,
in
cool.
Syracuse. Yeah.
Yeah, in both that, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Sharky's is now a key sponsor of ours.
Yes.
So we
I
have
remember,
gyms.
so talk to Jim, tell him.
We have gyms here.
Yep.
So yes.
We got to get the Femmes in there in September, I think 20th or something like that.
I was
20th.
thinking more the Stoney Curtis Band
Yeah.
with the Femmes. I think that
or-
would be.
Yeah, well,
That would be a
there
heck
we
of a
go.
show.
Grab it all.
Yeah.
Let's
It
get
would
count
be.
77
Yeah.
while we're at it.
Yeah, let's do all three.
It's all three.
Yeah,
It's
Vegas
the
comes to
perfect
Syracuse.
trifecta. It's the Vegas trifecta.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Vegas
Absolutely.
comes to the Cuse.
Yes. Yep.
We
That'd be
bet
cool.
you should show.
Yeah, right?
Gotta go crowdfunding.
That would be kind of ugly, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You'd have to try to pry Jeff away from all his local fans here.
Correct.
Because everybody's pole positioning to just say hi to the guy. He's a rock star here. He is.
He's a legend. I've read up on it. I've read up on this. I mean,
yeah, he's a member of the Blue Balls group. Or no, wait, that's us.
That's us.
Yeah. Okay. No, Blow Man Group.
Man, yeah,
that's it.
Oh, I said, yeah, well, bring them too.
No,
Just,
you can beat on the sticks on the ground and shit. I mean,
all right, we're gonna bring Stoney Curtis in '77 to Syracuse.
That's what I'm telling you. Right there.
Let's do it.
Right there.
Yep. Got to make this happen.
Yeah, we'll play Sharkies.
Yep, and then Stoney will peel off. It'll go do a little gig over at the Dinosaur for half a day or something. And get some blues.
I got to earn.
Man. Yeah,
I got to earn.
All right, guys. I'm gonna let you guys chat with.
All right, brother.
My boy.
Brother, good to
I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Yeah,
great to see you, bro.
Like right around it, right on the back, there's like a little. We just flip that little switch on that light. I think that probably helped too. Maybe
flick the vacancy light on, Jeff.
Flip the vacancy light on.
Look at that!
There he is. Holy cow!
Handsome lad. There we go. We're all set.
Now, like, oh wow.
Oh, now Stoney can see your lovely faces even more.
Look at that. Hey, that's the rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah, well, we're inside. It's a recording studio, and then on the other side of glass there is like a big sound stage, and that's where we rehearse. And it's nice. It's about 117 here today, so it's great.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close to that here. It's 96 in Syracuse, which is that's hot.
That's painful.
Oh, with the humidity.
Yeah, that's painful.
Yeah, you have to chew. You have to chew your breath. You have to chew it and then breathe it in. Otherwise, you choke.
You're
I get it.
Dude, Jeff, we'll see you, brother.
We'll see you, bud.
He'll stick his head back in one more time.
See you later, brother.
I told you. There he is.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. I'll talk to you later on. All right. Be safe out there.
It's dangerous.
It is, too.
So, Stoney, man,
Curtis.
I am so happy you're on here.
Thanks, man.
I really appreciate you doing this, man. It's great.
I mean, I know Jeff and I are both musicians. I don't know if Jeff Totora told you a little bit about us, but we're both musicians. I was a drummer for 30 years. I switched to being a singer. I'm a singer now. Jeff was my guitar player. We played in a band together for about 10 years. And then the COVID hit and shit went sideways everywhere,
Yeah.
And then
ruined it for everybody.
Yeah. And so we kind of changed gears a bit, and we still play music, but this is something that we've both been talking about doing. I said, well, let's do it, And what we try to do is let people meet the artists that we're talking to, know a little bit about your back history. We've done our research, but we want you to kind of tell us, what brought you through, and then we'll get into questions about, maybe one of your fanboy moments growing up in the music, and maybe one of your biggest bloopers that happened to you. Jeff told us a couple, and we'll go from there. I mean, the name Stoney Curtis immediately. Now, again, I've done my homework, so I know where it came from for you. But maybe if you tell our friends, because the first thing out of Stephanie's mouth when she was talking to me, is she said, Stoney Curtis, that's from the Flintstones. And I said, get the fuck out. That's just a coincidence. She goes, no, I'm telling you, that's from the Flintstones. Yeah. I'm like, you're full. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Then I did my research.
Yeah.
Tell us the origin of your name.
Sure. Yeah. So the Stoney Curtis thing came from when I first started the band. It was just we were doing blues covers, like a lot of the stuff from like the Blues Brothers and stuff like that, and then B.B. King and all the usuals, right? But the guy that I had singing, he loved the Flintstones, and but he always felt like most blues bands are just the guy. It's B.B. King, it's Buddy Guy, it's whatever, right?
Yeah.
So he's the one that suggested Stoney Curtis because. It was my band. I started the band, and I put together everything. And he just figured everyone will think that you're Stoney Curtis, and it's your band. So there you are.
Here it is.
Nice.
So he was right, because it kind of stuck, and people did think, oh, if you're Curtis, you're the Stoney Curtis then? Okay, I got it. And then it went from there for sure.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome. You know, I've listened to the, you know, whenever we book somebody, we do our own history. We start listening to the music that you produced. What do you got? 6 albums? Something like that now?
Yeah, 6 on Shrapnel, I think, maybe 5 or 6 on Shrapnel. Then there was like one a live one that I released independently years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm working on a 7th one with Barney right now too.
That's awesome.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah.
I love the, well, I like blues as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a huge B.B. King fan.
Yeah.
One of my the best shows I ever went to was a B.B. King show here, and I remember my buddy saying to me, and I've told this story.
Yeah.
Wait for it. Everybody filtered out of the landmark, out of the theater, and we just kind of sat there, and there was like 6 of us milling around, and out comes BB with Lucille, sits down on the edge of the stage while everybody's cleaning up and around him, and he pulls out a little 1x12, you know, 112, a little amp, and he just starts jamming and telling us his history, his life.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude, this is like, we have a private show with this guy. And my bud John says to me, he does this every time I've seen him. That's why I said wait for it. So the second time he played here, he did the same thing. And he looked up and he was like, you've been here before. I said, yes, I have. And that's why I'm sitting right here. I would not miss this. I didn't even have to go to the show. Sitting here intimately with you and this small group was just phenomenal. So
that's great.
I mean, that really turned my head into listening to that version of the music. And because I grew up a rock guy, you know, I grew up with Zeppelin, Sabbath, Kiss, AC/DC, stuff like Cream. You know, I think Cream was my first 8-track that I owned, you know, dating myself. But so there you go. But I
mean, that same thing for me. That's my pocket there too.
Yeah.
Kiss is where it started. Kiss and Alice Cooper, you know, progressed into UFO and Robin Trower and Hendrix, and then, you know, Stevie Ray came around, and then all the blues stuff. And, you know, the B.B. King was probably the first blues guy I saw, and that was at Chicago Fest. And I was at Chicago Fest. I was a kid. And, you know, back then they would have it along the Navy Pier, and there were different stages along the pier: blues stage, rock stage, country stage, etc. Right. And I was there, and my buddies and I saw Billy Squier when Billy was hot, when that first album came out, or not. It wasn't his first album. It was, but the one with all the hits, right? In the Dark and The Stroke and all that.
1985, 84-ish.
Yeah, maybe a little earlier than that. Maybe like 82, 83, maybe
83.
Yeah, you know, it might be because when I was in England in 85, and he was over there recording another album, and he was in the same studio. Friends of mine that I met in England were recording, the band Aha was recording the Take On Me album in the studio next to Billy Squier.
Right.
And we happened to, he's like, oh, here's another American. And I'm like, holy, it's fucking Billy Squier, you know? And we ended up, like, 5 of us went out to lunch, of all places, Pizza Hut in London with Billy Squier. So I was like, that's
a great story.
Yeah. I was like, you know, an
right.
18-year-old kid going, this is fucking incredible, you know?
Yeah.
So, but that's the only reason I knew the dates, because he was doing stuff there. So.
Understood.
But that's
that's and then as we were leaving that show, walking down the pier, B.B. King was playing that night too, and you know, it was towards the end of the show. It was The Thrill Is Gone. I remember it like yesterday. That it was the end of the night. That was that song, and that's when I really just kind of fell in love with it.
Nice.
His music, if you got it, it roped you in.
Yeah.
Like it took one second to just watch him playing that guitar like he wasn't even, his fingers just, it was magical. It really,
just kind of bled through them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it flows through them. That's really kind of what got me into blues too, was, you know, my buddies and I would kind of sneak into some of these blues clubs back in the day when, you know, it wasn't as, you know, it was more of a in the clubs in Chicago, you know. But to witness like Sun Seals and Buddy Guy and Otis Rush and some of these guys back in the day, man, it just the raw power and the raw energy of it, and just the way the music would flow through them, and the performance, man, it's undeniable. And, you know, I mean, it really is what everything is based on, you know, since it's started. I mean, everything's blues music, and
yes,
in one way or the other, you know?
Yeah. Well, the whole origin of rock and roll comes from rhythm and blues.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. And I think, you know, if you get into the theory aspect of it, like with you,
yeah,
I think that's why some of the music, he and I differ on some of our tastes, but you lean a lot.
I lean a lot Southern rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
Sure. And the same thing for us too. I mean, you know, growing up in Chicago, I mean, it's all blues, it's hard rock music, Southern rock, you know, Southern rock is, you know, I mean, there's a lot of different styles of Southern rock as well, you know, I mean, and some of it's heavier. The Count 77 band that we have, you know, the two guitars, and it's American rock and roll, the double guitars. I mean, it all has that Southern rock element to it, you know, whether it be the Allman Brothers or Skinner or Molly Hatchet, or,
right,
you know.
Right. I think I've heard, listening to your music, I try to pick up where some, I mean, it almost has even, it's a little heavier than the typical blues.
Yeah.
And almost, I pick up hints of like Deep Purple in there. I mean,
would that be correct? I mean,
sure. Yeah, Richie Blackmore is a big thing for me too. You know, and I think just kind of where I grew up, you know, the sound of that city is, of course, it's blues music. That's what you know, that's the foundation of that music scene there. But also, you know, the hard rock. I mean, you know, all our older siblings and stuff, they all grew up with Zeppelin and Alice Cooper and all that stuff, and turned us on to it. So, you know, UFO is a big one for me as well. Michael Schenker is always a big one for me.
Right.
You know, and they have you know, Hello Chicago, the Strangers in the Night. I mean, so UFO was always a big band in Chicago and amongst us kids growing up. So all of that music, that blues and that hard rock influence is all there within me and anybody else that kind of comes from that, you know?
Right. Yeah. Right. What brought you, I mean, you're a Chicago guy, you spent some time in LA, and then progressive just brought you to Vegas, or something said that'd be a good city to live in? Or did you go for work? Or what'd you do?
I lived in Chicago till I was 19. A couple of weeks after my 19th birthday, I moved to LA, and I lived there for several years, and, you know, did my thing. I played in some bands out there, and then after a while, I just kind of found myself spending more time in Vegas. You know, there was just more gigs and more things happening in Vegas. This was, you know, 2008, 2009, 2010 ish. But I had been coming to Vegas since 99 or 2000, playing at a blues club here. So I kind of had built up a fan base and a foundation here, and built up some really cool friendships here. So I just felt like at that time, you know, I just wanted to change, and, you know, I had already built the foundation here, so it was kind of an easy move. It's a little bit easier on the soul here than it was in LA, especially 10 years ago.
Sure.
Right.
You know, the kind of, you know, it's cheaper. It wasn't nearly right now. It's a different story because we're getting very crowded here. But you know, 10 years ago, it wasn't that crowded here.
No,
know?
Right.
No,
it's like people, you know, drive down to Tennessee and I'm going to live here. Well, Tennessee's getting crowded now.
Tennessee's getting crowded for sure.
Yeah.
But you know what I found about Vegas, and everybody would. I have cousins that live out there. My uncle, my great uncle, he lived out there back when he would visit there before the Strip was the Strip. He was back.
Right.
I mean, he knew the guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He knew the guys that shaped, with a last name that ends in a vowel.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys knew each other. So he was
We
rubbing
miss
elbows.
those days here.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We miss those days in Vegas for sure. Because, especially back then, the locals were treated, they were welcomed and they needed some of the locals to kind of fill in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, the corporate stuff, I mean, the locals are kind of more treated like a nuisance than they are,
Okay.
At one point,
but the old days of, the old, the mob days, as they would call it, those were the glory days of Vegas because, people were treated well out here.
Yeah. Well, it was a refuge. It was a place that and like they said, the old saying, what happened in Vegas stayed in Vegas. It was a place to go, Sin City, the whole 9 yards. Then back in like the early 90s, mid 90s, it got friendly and it got cleaned up and it was more family. And the Circus started having families there and with the rides and people go, what the hell is all this? And I think go ahead.
No, I was going to say my girlfriend and I just went for a walk because I live right by Mandalay Bay and every once in a while we'll go and, just take a walk and go have a drink and chill. But I mean, it's like Disneyland now. There's so many kids here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know why you would bring your children here, but they seem to, I mean, I walk through a casino now and I'm ducking and dodging kids all over the place. I just don't understand. Take your kids to Disneyland or Legoland or something. Why are you bringing them here? There's nothing for these kids to do, but they seem to be letting it run loose here.
I'll tell you, I've been to Vegas for a while there. I was there a lot. I think I've been to Vegas about, I want to say without exaggeration, 30 times in my lifetime. And I would go 4 or 5 times a year when I worked for corporate America.
Right.
My vice president, I worked for AT&T years ago, and my vice president, she learned how to play craps.
Oh.
I taught her. And so every time we had a corporate meeting, where should we do it? Yeah. Mike, hook it up. I'd be the guy calling Mandalay Bay or the Venetian or one of them and saying, I need 40 rooms. And they're like, well, after they got used to me, what can we do? Can we upgrade you? Nope. I said, no, I want the same room as everybody else. But when I want something and I call you, I want you to pull out all the stops. So there was a couple times I called, and next thing I know, I had the biggest suite. I had the limo for my use for the whole. I was like a shooter for a while, so I went out there a lot, and I fell in love with the city. Because I had family out there. My uncle would be like, no, you're not going to go there. Come on, come with me. This is where we're going to hang out today. Get away from those big places. We're going to go to these little tiny casinos over here. We're going to play video poker. You don't play the slot. He's
right.
Typical old school guy. And just, I loved it. I love the city. And it's the opportunity for a musician, like I'm sure you found, it's every casino has a bar, has somebody playing something sometime. 24 hours a day. Well,
yeah, they used to. Not so much anymore. That's the sad thing about it. I mean, this used to be a 24-hour town at all times, and it's not as much as it was. The live music is not as much as it was because, I mean, there would be bands playing 24 hours a day. I mean, I would go to gigs at 3 a.m. to go see people play.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Not really happening that much anymore, but and that's sad, and I hope that comes back. But yeah, I mean, like you said too, I mean, if you were a musician, 10, 15 years ago, man, you could work a lot. Now it's a little bit more of a struggle, but it's still happening.
Especially the guys that played the regular resident type gigs, and they get done at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and after playing 3 shows that day, and then now it's time for them to let their hair down.
Yeah.
It was almost like the after-hour clubs in New York City. You could go and just find shit to do any hour, and it wasn't like you had to knock on the door and Louis the Lug answered and, you had to pay a $70 cover charge like you do in New York City.
Right.
You were just hanging out. I freaking loved it. But I'm sure COVID didn't help either. You know,
COVID didn't help either. Now, you know, a lot of the 24-hour stuff ceased to be happening. You know, some of it's coming around back again a little bit, but Vegas is in a very strange place right now, and again, I hope it kind of comes back around to be the way it used to be. But like I said, right now, too many kids. The 24-hour thing is not really happening as much. The prices are ridiculous. Traffic's crazy. I could go on and on, but you know, I don't want to say that, you know, I don't want to be busting on my city, because I do love Las Vegas, but it has changed over the past few years, and not for the better.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think, and I think, to get back to music, but before that, Vegas used to invest in Vegas, not going up and glitzy. They expand. It was the fastest growing city back in the 80s and 90s. When I got out of college, I was planning on moving there, and I got into a sales role somewhere just to kind of get some experience, because I knew if I went out there, I'd want to have something to fall back on. But, you know, my cousin was one of the vice presidents at the Riviera back then. Mm-hmm. My uncle, I don't know, he was doing extra stuff for movies, and he just looked the part, you know, just a big Italian looking, and he looked like a hitman, you know. But when he wasn't doing that, he was spinning the wheel at the riverboat or something. I mean, sure. But he says you can make a ton of money out here. I was planning to move out there, and it was growing. It just grew and grew. It just kept going out because you were in the middle of a desert. You could just keep growing out, and, you know, Red Rock Canyon doesn't look too far away, but it's far enough where you can just keep growing toward it, you know?
Well, and they have.
Yeah.
They have grown all the way towards it. Wow. Yeah, to where, I mean, they're surrounding it, and it's just, places that were 15 years ago that were way out there, and you would think they're never going to get out here, never going to touch us. They're there. Huh. Yeah. We went from, we really went to, from a couple 100,000 to almost 3 million, bam, like that.
Wow. Jeez. Unbelievable.
Yeah. You know, and then California is a disaster too, and everybody's trying to get the hell out of there too. So where are they coming? Vegas. They're coming to Vegas,
right? Yep.
Which is fine, you know. But the problem is that you're bringing some of your California bullshit with you here, and that's you're trying to get away from it, but you're bringing it here,
right? Right.
So that's, you know, so we're, like I said, we're having some issues right now, but I know that Vegas is going to pull through it, and we're going to return to be in Vegas, hopefully in the next few years.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, fingers crossed on that.
Right.
But in the meantime, you've got all that you're doing out there. And the other thing I did notice, the KISS fundraising event, that's your baby.
That's my baby.
And it's not the first time. Just looking into the stuff that you do is what I've read about this, and it's like, this is his gig. I mean, and it just keeps getting bigger every year, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. This is going to be, this year it's going to be our 8th KISS night, our 9th charity event, because we were going to do one in 2017. We had the shooting out here.
Right.
And unfortunately, it was a week before the KISS night. So we just kind of turned that night into a victims fund event, right? So we just raised money for them. But yeah, this will be the 8th one. We had a few years off, of course. But yeah, we started doing it in 2012, I believe. Okay. And so we do it to raise money for the music departments out here to help, you know, try to buy some new instruments and supplies and stuff for the music departments in the schools here.
That's very cool.
And it's something that myself and the couple of partners that I have, it's something that we do out of pure heart, and we love it, and it's our favorite band in the world, and, you know, we can kind of make it into this over the top event. And we do it, and it goes for hours on end, and we raise some money. We have some really cool raffle prizes, and we have some great special guests. And my drum riser is a big tank with a turret on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super cool, and it is really like I call it the rock and roll event of the year in Las Vegas, and it's hard to top it for sure, man.
Well, I'll tell you. Now, that's in what, November?
October 7th this year.
Okay. Now, have you had any members of KISS ever show up to that?
No, but Bob Kulick was always a big part of it.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get Bruce this year. I always try to. I invite Bruce every year, but most of the time he's out with Grand Funk.
I see he's out with Grand Funk.
So I'm hoping that this year he can do it. He's looking at his schedule, but I of course want to do a tribute to his brother this year.
Yeah.
And Bob did a bunch of the KISS nights. I mean, every year he would do it. He'd do some of the Paul Stanley solo stuff. He would do some of the Alive 2 stuff. He would do a couple songs off of Killers and tell stories. And we love Bob to death here.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get Bruce to be a part of it. Sebastian Bach lives out here.
Yep.
He's a huge KISS fan, trying to get Sebastian this year, and Jason Hook and some of these other guys.
Oh,
yeah. It'll be a thing for sure.
I actually reached out to Bruce last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, about being on the show, actually.
Great guy. Bruce is he and his wife are just great people.
I think once they see that we have, someone like Stoney on here, then they're all going to want to do it.
Yeah, that'll be
It's like, here's Tom Sawyer painting the fence. Everybody wants to paint it now.
Right.
So you got the KISS
I always
event.
say that and $1.25 get me a train ride.
Not anymore. It won't even get you a piece of gum.
Yeah, it won't even get me out of that.
Right.
So you're working on another album now. How's that going?
I'm in the middle of 3 of them right now.
Oh, wow.
You're almost
because I'm doing a new studio album for Stoney Curtis Band.
Okay.
Because it's been too long since I put out a new original studio album. But I'm also going to put out a live Stoney Curtis album that we recorded on my birthday up at Vamped. And there's a woman doing a documentary about Stoney Curtis Band, and that'll be out, I think, later on. Probably be early next year by the time it's out and done, and it'll coincide with the new album. But so she's doing this film, and she of course wants to use some of the Stoney Curtis Band music. And, that all goes through the Orchard and Sony and stuff. And, you got to pay for all that.
Right.
But Mike Barney had the idea. He goes, well, she bought some of them, but some of these other ones, if you do a re-record, you don't have to pay for it. Right. So I recorded this show to figure, I'll get a couple of these songs out of it and re-recorded. But I had all these special guests, from Jeff Tatora to Jeff Duncan from Armored Saint to Sebastian Bach to Danny Coker to Les Warner from the Cult. I had all these different special guests, and they all got up there and played, and it was just off the cuff and spontaneous, but it came out so good.
Right.
I'm going like, man, this whole night is great. I'm going to take an hour and a half of this, and I'm going to make a live album out of it.
Yeah, make an album.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because the thing is too is that it's already recorded. All the work's done outside of mixing it.
Right.
And I can help. It will help finance the new studio album. So
that's
cool.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Just going to call it Stoney's Birthday Alive 1.
That's basically what I'm going to call it. It's going to be called Still Alive After All These Years. And it's going to be the birthday show live from Vamped.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Sign us up.
Yeah.
We'll buy it, buy the copy, and then we'll start selling the bootlegs.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey man, whatever it takes to get it out there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like sure. There's no bad press. What they say.
Yeah. Hey, maybe if I'm Metallica or something like that, or some band where you're making bootlegs, they might frown upon that. But when you're trying to gain as many fans as you can, and whatever,
listen,
burn it, spread it around, give it to your friends, please.
Yeah, right. Listen, the Grateful Dead lived off bootlegs.
I was just going to say Grateful Dead. I mean,
they lived off bootlegs. That's
Yeah.
People would go with the recorders and just
exactly.
I don't know how they got.
We were just talking about that. What's happening? I don't know if you guys remember the TV show What's Happening.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Ron and Roger, and there was the episode where they were bootlegging the Doobie Brothers show.
Yes,
I don't know if you remember that. But they had the old recorder where
reel to reel,
where you got to push play and record at the same time, strapped around. Now with the iPhone, everybody bootlegs every show.
I was going to say everything's on YouTube.
It's not even. They don't even. They go live.
Right.
It's like
they go live.
Oh, you didn't want to pay $100 to see the show? Well, I did. I'm 4 rows back, and now you can count the sweat beads off of the guitar player's nose.
Right.
Right.
So
right.
But I'm one of those guys. If I go to a show, I am not looking through my phone.
No.
I hate that shit.
I do too.
I want to see them. I don't want to look through it through my phone. I'll take a couple pictures or whatever, but
it's that generation.
It is.
My daughter, these kids now, we go to, my daughter's 27. She doesn't do it. 26 now. She doesn't do it anymore, but she probably does. But she goes to see fireworks, and she's taking pictures and recording. I said, you're not experiencing. You're looking at it through this little tiny screen.
Sure.
Put it down and experience this. What are you, nuts? I don't get it.
I had a mini meltdown a few years ago, and I say it in jest, but Vamp holds like 350 people, kind of give or take, right? Maybe 400, depending on bar. But I mean, we get some pretty big names in there, from Michael Schenker to But one year, a few years ago, we had Jeff Tate there, and Jeff Tate from Queensryche, right? And I'm going, I loved Queensryche from when I was 18 or 17, right?
Yeah.
I loved it. And going, Jeff Tate is in our living room, so to speak, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He's right there, and everybody's got their phones up and their iPads, and they're doing all of this, and I'm trying to watch a show, and finally I'm going what are you doing?
Right.
The guy is the legend is standing right there, and you're trying to watch it through your phone when he's right there, and then you're blocking everybody else trying to watch a show.
Yes.
It's embarrassing at times.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it is, and I'm a firm believer in experiencing the moment.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Absolutely.
I want to see it with my eyes, not through my phone.
And I think that's what coming full circle on stories, but stuff like that is what brought me out of curiosity and out of respect to go see B.B. King the first time. Yeah. I bought the ticket not knowing what I was getting myself into to fall in love with that with his music, and just the man himself was such a freaking gentleman. But
he is.
But it was like, if I had been so preoccupied staring at all that magic that happened in my brain, would have never happened, and I would have just been like, all right, let's post this somewhere. Who gives a shit about posting it,
Right. Yeah, right. Who's watching this?
Right.
Yeah. And half the time, you're never even going to watch it again.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you, I'll give you a quick little story too. I don't know if you how big of Kiss fans you guys are. Or whatever,
huge.
But, okay, so you know how they had that Sam Loomis video dumps a while ago, and then recently they did them again, right? Whereas all this old Kiss footage, never before seen stuff, and
right.
But in this group of videos was the first concert that I ever saw when I was a kid, which was Kiss in Chicago in 1978.
Nice.
Right. Wow. And I was a kid, but I to this day I always go, man, that is still the greatest rock and roll show I ever saw, was that first Kiss show. And I it's in my brain, right? Because I watched it.
Right.
And then in this video dump they had some 8mm footage and sound of that Kiss show that I saw in 1978 in Chicago.
That's cool.
And I'm watching it and I'm going, wow. I'm watching it back. I'm going, yep, it's still the greatest rock concert I ever saw.
Right.
But it was still embedded in my brain.
Right. Just
because I enjoyed the show, I took it in, and was in, like you said, in the moment with it.
Yeah. I think. I'm 56, so going to see Kiss with makeup, then without makeup, then with makeup, watching them progress along, doing the old days where you slept out for 2 days to get good seats.
Ticket, yeah.
You know, I mean, and I don't know. I was like, shit, what was I, 12, 13 years old or something back, or 11, 12 years old, I think, sleeping out to see Kiss. And I can't imagine a parent would let their kids do that shit right now. It's like these helicopter parents would be like, well, we'll sit in the van and we'll get you nice and
watch.
We were bundled up in sleeping bags and, you know,
no kidding.
Sleep in a fucking mall parking lot waiting for Ticketmaster to open up, you know?
Yeah.
Shit. But yeah, I think we've got
the kids today, they don't know the struggle, man.
No, not at all, dude.
No. I remember, yeah.
Yeah, you remember.
I mean, it was like you were underage and you would walk someplace knowing you're not going to get in.
Yeah.
You would just go there just to get a glimpse of your favorite band walking into some club. And, you know, got to keep in mind.
I did that with Stevie Ray Vaughan before he died. I was able to see him.
Twisted Sister, when they first come out. Manowar, right? Yeah. Manowar. I was a big Manowar fan back in the 80s. And the band I was in, we were doing Manowar covers. It was like, you know, I was ready to go buy a fucking rabbit pelt and wear it as pants.
I have another buddy that's from the New York state area, and he was a big Manowar fan too. I wonder if Manowar is like a Northeast kind of thing. Where
Definitely,
they're overseas kind of thing.
Huge overseas. Huge. Yeah. Now, Ross the Boss, who was one of the original guitar players, came from the Dictators, and you figure the Dictators were like the founding fathers of punk with like the Misfits and a couple others. So these guys came from that New York City, Lower Hudson Valley kind of punk before it was punk. Yeah. You know, when it was like what Goldie was who was some or not Goldie, Goldie, Blondie, and then you had, you know, Elvis Costello and shit like that were like on the forefront, and then Black Flag and all these guys like really kind of took over the hardcore punk. But the Misfits and the Dictators, I mean, if there was even before my time, it was like mid 70s, you know.
Oh yeah.
And we're lucky enough that as he progressed, and then Manowar blew up. But two of the guys out of Manowar were from right here in just outside of Syracuse in Auburn,
New York.
Okay.
So
that's making sense. Yeah.
But when I was in England, I mean, they would sell out the Hammersmith Odeon, you know, with the same crowd that just was there a week before to see, you know, Lemmy, Motorhead. So, you know, you'd have a 75 to 100,000 people in this arena, and over here they're playing at a club with 400 people in it, you know. But I remember walking there in an ice storm and getting in the back door to just watch them do sound check, and the guys in the band were like, "Come on in, it's a fucking ice storm out there," and we're like, "Yeah, we just wanted to see you guys and maybe get an autograph because we're in a band and we play and we're not going to get in tonight because we're all underage,
right?
You know." And back then we used to have letters to get into play. I had to have a letter from my mother that said, "I allow my son to play at your bar," you know, and I had it in the laminate, you know. Like, I could play. I'm 15, and those guys were like so gracious. They're like, "Come on in, you know, get warm." You know, we were just doing sound check, but we'll play a couple songs for you, and it was like, holy shit, you know. But that's
awesome.
That's the shit we went through to follow our music. Yeah. You know, these kids now are like, I'm not going anywhere. I can just click on it and watch it live on YouTube or.
No thanks. I'd rather be there live.
Yeah.
You know.
Me too. Yeah. I'm still old school. I want to go. I love going to rock shows. I love going to blues shows. I love going to see live music as much as I possibly can.
I want to switch gears just a tad. Tell us about your van.
Van?
Yeah.
Oh no, that Zito has the van.
I
have
really?
the Mustang.
Okay.
Yeah, John Zito has he's the other guitar player in a count band. He has a 77 Dodge van that is like, it's the biggest rock star of all of them, I think.
Okay.
That van is gorgeous.
Well,
he still drives it every day too.
You guys still have the big camper too?
Danny got rid of the camper, the FMC.
Yeah,
he sold that. He sold the FMC. It's not like we're ever going to use it. I mean, when with the Count Band, we do fly dates.
Right.
Right.
Well, you know, it's funny because when I was watching that episode, I'm like, I can't see these guys driving around in that. I mean, I could see it'd be cool. You roll up and you're like, yeah, look at this, because it was badass. But but I saw a lot of the places you play, and like you said, you're flying in all over them. Like,
we're flying in.
They're not jumping in. He's not. He's got TV. He's got TV money now.
So you've got the Mustang then.
I have. Yeah, I have a 2015 Mustang, and he put on a down the driver's side of the hood, and then over the top is a guitar neck.
Oh, really?
Looks like a Les Paul guitar neck.
Yes.
But the great thing about it is, it all looks like 3D and stuff. It's all painted. Ryan Evans painted it, and then like the block inlays are actual mother of pearl. They like laid mother of pearl in there.
No kidding.
Clear coated it, so
okay.
You hit it, and it's like it has that shell look, and
yeah.
And the strings kind of pop and stuff. It's super cool.
Now, do you drive that every day?
I do not drive it every day. It's over here in the studio, but it sits here in the studio. I have a everyday driver that I drive because that Mustang is so nice.
Yeah.
And I've had it for 8 years. This month would be 8 years I've had that Mustang, but it's pristine. I mean, there's not like a nick on that thing. So nice. I only drive it when I'm going. Like if I go to California or I go take a trip, or if I'm going somewhere nice, we'll drive the Mustang. But usually it sits here because it's just
you can't let Tatora in it.
No, don't let Jeff in.
No, it can't. No,
fucking cheeseburger wrappers in the back seat. You know.
Yeah.
That's what we were joking earlier about the utensils and stuff. Jeff, you know, he'll come to the studio and he loves like this granola mix thing that he eats all the time, and he'll be like, "Oh, I can't find any spoons." It's like, well, yeah, your spoons are are all buried in your car somewhere.
More dirt on Jeff.
You gotta love Jeff. I mean,
I love Jeff.
What a gentleman. You know, we kid about this and stuff, but I knew when he hooked us up to interview you, I was like, Jeff, if he's anything is half as cool as you are, he's like, oh, he's cooler than me.
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys, the one thing I can say, you guys work a lot, you know a lot, you're rubbing elbows, but to the people listening to this that follow our show, I've never had a person be just so cool and just down to earth like yourself, you know.
Oh, thanks.
And to us, I kept saying to Jeff, you know, we got Brian Wheat's going to be coming up from Tesla. We've got Ross.
I just met Brian the other 2 nights ago.
Oh, did you?
The bass player?
Yeah.
He was just in Vegas. I went to, and Jeff was there too. And it was a woman out here's birthday. She does a lot of entertainment stuff out here. It was her birthday, and Sebastian was there, Sebastian Bach, and he came, and Brian came in. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
I got a chance to meet him and talk. Super cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny story about him.
He actually lives in Auburn.
Yeah. Just outside.
Okay.
Just outside of Syracuse here.
Yeah. He bought a beautiful what he's turning into a bed and breakfast or something.
I think
big
so.
Mansion, but he funny thing how we got to know him, or I even got in touch with him. He goes and gets his hair done in the same place as my mother. Now, my mother's sitting next to this guy under the dryer or something and just shooting the shit with him. And he's talking. He's like, well, yeah, I'm playing a show. Actually, I'm playing a show here in Syracuse. And I found this new hair dread, blah, blah, blah. And not once does she say, oh, well, my son's a musician and he sings. And so she comes and she said, yeah, I met the nicest musician today. I go, oh, no kidding. What? Well, do I know him? She says, oh, I don't know. He's in some band, like something to do with a car. I go, something to do with a car? She goes, I don't know. Tesla. I go, Tesla.
Right.
Who are you talking to, Mom? She said, oh, the bass player. Nice man. I go, Brian Wheat.
Brian Wheat.
She goes, yeah. I said, did you tell him that our band plays like 3 Tesla songs and we freaking love the guy? And she's like, oh, I didn't want to bring that up. And I'm like, no, why would we do that?
No.
Yeah.
Right. Why would we do that?
So then, like 8 weeks later, she's back getting her hair done or
doing
6
it again.
weeks, and boom, he rolls in. I'm like, She goes, "Oh, I saw him again." I said, "Did you finally tell him?" She goes, "Oh no." I'm like, "What are you killing me, Mom?" So when I reached out to Brian to be on the show, I said, "Hey, you got your hair done with my mother."
Yeah.
My mother's Kathy. And he's like, oh, cool. And immediately he's like, "Yeah, I'll do the show." So,
That's great. Yeah.
But so he was down to earth that way. But a lot of other ones, it's been like pulling hen's teeth.
No,
a
lot of them are busy.
So we have to say
totally
we appreciate
you
this
doing this
so much that you're on here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. Bro.
So you want to ask the proverbial question that we always ask?
I can.
You want to do the fanboy question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So who, out of everybody you've met, who was the one that you went, holy shit, I'm standing in front of him or her?
You can't say Jeff Tate because we already tried. You already did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've obviously met a lot of these guys, but I mean, I'm just going to go right back to the BB King thing because I did meet BB King here in Vegas, and I got a chance to talk to him, and and it was really kind of cool because I met him here, and he had met some people, and it was kind of like a lot of them were like, they probably didn't even know who BB King was, or they just kind of knew BB King's music, and it was like a corporate thing where they got to meet him kind of thing. And but then when we kind of talked, I mean, we kind of hit it off because we talked about blues, and we talked about when I saw him at Chicago Fest, and we did, and he just kind of went into that mode. It was just the two of us hanging out and talking. And I actually even have a picture of it where he just like reached down and like grabbed my hand and like held my hand, and we were just talking and stuff. I mean, I getting chills about it, thinking about it now, just talking to him and him just like holding my hand and talking about blues music and talking about Chicago and all that stuff. So I would probably, how do you top that? I don't know.
No,
for a moment and that was probably in like 2008 or 9, 10, maybe something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a magical moment for sure.
Cool.
And I think the people that did know him, and I can't say they did, but I saw how genuine he was when he came out those couple times. And I told you,
Yeah.
My grandfather had the same little mustache, that same twinkle in his eye that BB had. He just had this personality, and he had an aura about him that you never thought he wasn't approachable.
Right.
But you almost didn't approach him out of respect to just, in my opinion, the guy was like a god. He was like, he's a legend. So I can imagine exactly, seeing him standing there holding your hand and talking, and just with that smile he had. I mean, he was an incredible man. And
he really was.
The fact that I got to see somebody like that multiple times, and trade little bits of words with him, was priceless. So yeah, that would have been a fanboy moment for me. The only thing to top it is if he had said, "Hey, grab your guitar, let's go and
let's jam."
That would have been next level. But yeah, just having that moment, I'll cherish that until I die for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's very cool.
So with that, there's got to be a moment in your career, and we ask this all the time, that just the biggest blunder / fuck up / blooper. The crowd may not have known it was going on. I mean, Jeff told us stick slip out of his hand, and he hit the woman in the face from like eight rows back.
Jeff should carry his own insurance policy.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I say that with all due respect. But Jeff should carry his own insurance policy.
Well, you can't bash on Jeff.
No.
Yeah, so a moment like that. Oh man. Damn. The only thing I can really think of is I subbed for the Rock of Ages one time out here. And I don't use in-ears and all that stuff, and all their shit is in-ears, and it's all unrehearsed. They just say, go. and I'm up there, and everything about that was a nightmare for me, and I still have nightmares about it. So that would probably be the worst thing is being secluded with these in-ears, and there's all these broads dancing in front of you, and they're doing all the things, and they're singing and dancing. You're going like, I don't know where, I can't hear a fucking thing. There's 500 people out there. I'm looking at these guys. They're looking. I'm going, I don't know. It was a nightmare. That would be the one thing. That was a, and to this day, I still won't use the in-ear monitors over that. I just don't like it. I don't want to be secluded. I don't, that would be the one thing that sticks in my mind.
I am with you on the whole in-ear thing.
I'm the opposite, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, being a singer, I want to hear myself.
But
singers for sure, I understand it.
But we want to hear
right now. So
I think we want to hear it. Not through headphones. If I,
right.
You want to hear it organically.
Yeah.
You want to hear it.
Right. I want to hear it organically. I want to feel the air moving a little bit. I want to, when a good tube amplifier is humming, I mean, it's like, it's got this roundness to it and stuff. And I need to have that, or, that to me is where the energy is, is being, again, in the moment, really, Well,
especially blues being so, emotionally driven. You're feeling it. You're exuding what's coming out of you. So
yeah, but singing, I mean, that's a whole different thing. And I would like to have an in-ear, like for when I'm singing, that would probably be helpful and nice. But I've been doing it for so long with just wedges, and I can't hear myself anyway. So I mean, I'm just, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah.
I think I have a blooper moment with my in-ear. Remember we played that gig. So my in-ears and I didn't clip it to the back of my collar. So I took them out, and one fell behind me and was sitting on the floor. I didn't know. I kind of stepped backwards, and I must have stepped on it. And then I was like, oh shit. And I pulled it up and threw it back in my ear. And we get done with the first set. We're going into break, and I take the in-ear out, and the rubber piece
in your ear
is down in my ear canal.
Oh, it's embedded in your eardrum.
Yeah. And now I'm like a dog, like trying to get a bee out of my hair.
Yeah.
We had our drummer at the time had a gag reflex that if you said anything to do with like your ears, or he would just,
Yeah.
So they're over there like trying to dig this thing out of my ear with like tweezers and nail clippers and a screwdriver, whatever the fuck they had. He's over there almost throwing up. He doesn't want to go on for the second set. I'm like, all this. So now, even like when I'm sitting here, it's like I've got the clip, connected, because I don't ever want to go through that most horrible feeling that this thing is down, way the fuck down in my ear.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, maybe we don't do
maybe we don't do that one.
Yeah, we don't do in-ears anymore. Like, fuck.
That's funny shit.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
It would be. For sure.
Shit. So we've
that a Sopranos poster right there? Is that a Sopranos poster?
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So
that's awesome.
One of the guys that was on the Sopranos happens to be from here, and I had him on before we had the music podcast. I had another podcast during COVID that we did during COVID, and it was all just about nonsensical bullshit and just
food. Just say it. Food.
It was about food. Well,
about food.
Two fat guys talking about food. It was
know.
Beautiful.
I like food.
Yeah. So my buddy, he was on The Sopranos, and it seemed like every movie role he got into, he was typecast for a mobster role. And,
well, some of those guys, I mean, some of those guys like Big Pussy and some of them, they were like, they're always in the gangster movies.
Yeah. So, and that was a joke I had with my buddy Andy. Andy, and did you follow the Sopranos show?
Oh yeah,
okay.
I watched it every week.
So when the people that follow it immediately pick it up, but when Jackie Jr. and his buddy Dino Zerilli robbed Chris's card game, okay, and they didn't know it was Chris, and they went out and they shot the guy in the street. He was the first public execution on the show. They kind of went to the next level, showing someone actually getting killed. That was my buddy.
Right.
So my buddy had like 7 episodes. Boom, he gets killed. But he can say, I was the first one to die publicly on the show. And then from that point on, every fucking movie this poor kid goes in, I'm like, are you going to live in anything? I mean, are you every movie you're like, you get almost to the end and bang. He was in Knockaround Guys. With
Knockaround Guys is good too.
Yeah. So he was and I was at the premiere for that. That was my like 3 minutes of fame. I'm walking down the receiving line for all the stars, and I'm with my buddy, and the cameras are going, the lights are on. I'm supposed to be behind the backdrop walking, and I don't know. I'm just following my buddy. And they get to him, and they ask him the questions. They moves on. I come up, and they go, stop. I'm like, okay. What part did you play? I go, I'm with him. Lights go off, cameras stop. He's a nobody. Somebody yells out, he's a nobody. I was like, okay, thanks. But, I still made it to who's the guy who takes all the I still got a Getty image of myself, looking confused, being like, so, but that's where I met Chuck Zito that night and all those guys. And we made fun of Monica Lewinsky, and those guys took me under their wing. So.
See, the only Amish guy, or the only mafia thing I know is Amish mafia.
Amish guy.
Amish mafia. Only because one of the guys that's in it, I know his father.
Ezekiel?
No. No.
Jebediah?
And he doesn't.
Ezekiel.
And he doesn't
Kingpin,
talk
right?
about it.
Yeah.
And you don't ask him.
We don't have a bull, or we don't have a cow. Cool.
Right. It's fine.
Worst part of that whole worst part of Kingpin, flossing his teeth. That's all I'm going to say.
The flossing his teeth,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's right. I love Kingpin, man. That just Big Earn is finally above the law. Bill Murray.
Yeah.
He just kills me in that movie, man. That might be. I love a lot of Bill Murray stuff, but that is definitely one of my top 3 Bill Murray movies. When as Big Earn McCracken, it just kills me. Yeah.
Absolutely love the movie.
Yep.
Love it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of stuff that most people hate. Yeah. So, any movie that I start to pick, my daughter would be like, yeah, no, I had to watch that shit when I was growing up. I'm not watching it anymore. Doing it now. It's like, but it's Little Nicky. You used to love Little Nicky. She's like, nope, not watching Little Nicky now. She's like, and don't do the voice. Yeah, right. She's like, don't do the voice. Like, come on, let's watch Little Nicky, kid. And then she gets all pissed off.
There you go.
I talk on the side of your mouth just a little bit. Come on, Dad. So, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, anyways, I hope you've had as much fun as we've had on this show. I mean,
absolutely, this is great.
We could keep this going, and I think we've
kept you long enough.
Yeah,
I think.
we've done 3 hours on some of them because people didn't stop talking. I looked down, I was like, holy
cow,
shit, dude, we just talked for 3 hours of this poor son of a bitch.
I know.
But I mean, we definitely want to have you back to tell more stuff. Anything that you want to promote,
and we're going to try to get you guys Count 77, Stoney Curtis Band. We're trying to get everybody up here to Sharky's.
Yeah, well, Sharky, they're bringing a lot of stuff in.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got all kinds of music. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
I mean, he had a Shantae one week, and then he was going to have Held Hostage here last week, but they got rained out. But but I mean, a lot of other bigger national bands have been in, so we would love to have you guys out here.
And we would love to do it. So I mean, you definitely know how to get a hold of me.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
And and as I told Jeff, as you see, if you follow it, as you see anybody that you know, and we've told Jeff this bridge that we gave you, username, password, bridge, the whole nine. Monday and Tuesdays typically we record at the same time. So if somebody's going to be on that like Jeff did, he popped in.
Just drop in.
The gentleman that we were interviewing was like, holy shit, this is so cool.
Oh,
Jeff.
yeah.
You've got an open door anytime you want to promote something. Just let me know and pop on. I mean,
if your album's coming up, pop in?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, once all this stuff is done, I would love to. Yeah, would love to pop back on for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I know Jeff and I are we're trying to make our way out to Vegas within the next year, so we'll definitely look you up when we're out there.
Hey, we always welcome you with open arms here, man. So just come on down, and we'll VIP you as much as we can.
We'll probably just jump up on stage and play with you then.
I'd love it. That's an open invitation.
There you go. As long as I don't trip like I did the time.
Yeah, and there's no rickety.
Yeah, my blooper was my header playing a show and went to jump up on the second level of the stage. My foot caught it, and then I bit it. And we had a good crowd, and so that was embarrassing. But then I popped back up. How I did that, I don't know. They were like, he looked like a fucking weeble. I was just boom, And then his thing is we're playing at a raceway, 5,000 people, and he decides to get off stage and go stand on top of a picnic table with all the crowd around him.
Rickety-ass picnic table. I thought, hey, let's do it. And little did we know at the time, but
that was going to fall apart.
ESPN Plus was filming all this.
Yeah. So that was the daredevil event of the night because they couldn't get down.
Every time there was a crash or there was a caution or something,
we had to immediately
start playing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pay no attention to the blood and bones. This is one from Motley Crue.
Right.
Awesome.
But that was our
right.
Yeah. So he got stuck on a picnic table
and picnic table that
looked at the band to come help him down. And I said on the mic in front of everybody, no, you got yourself up there. Get yourself down. So he spent 3 songs on that picnic table.
And then thankfully my wife got sick of looking at me up there and helped me down.
So, yeah. So we've got all kinds of fun moments that we can share. But we wouldn't embarrass you.
No.
So anyways. All right, man.
Stoney, thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, man, it was a pleasure, guys. Nice to meet you guys.
You as well.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you put the link out to everybody. That was really cool.
Yes.
We will have this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have this up on Spotify tonight, and we'll also have it up on YouTube
as well.
Oh, perfect. So I'll send you the links in Messenger so that you can do what you want.
And what's your shirt size? You and Jeff can be twins.
Oh yeah. You can have the clean version of Jeff's shirt.
Medium or large. Medium or large.
Okay. Because you can have the clean version of Jeff's.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, when the Femmes of Rock, when I walked up to the table to meet Nina and the girls went, "You're Big Papa." And I was like, "Excuse me? You're the name that's on Jeff's new favorite shirt." And I was like, "Dude, you need to do laundry."
And that's funny. And we had seen a picture of him
with
like
you
the week before playing it, and he had it on.
Yeah.
Right.
So he comes to Canandaigua and Buffalo, and he's got it on again.
Nothing wrong with that.
But there's trust me, nothing wrong.
No, we loved it.
Yeah,
we get the publicity out of it. So, so you will have one coming to you. We'll probably
appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Shoot me your mailing address, or if you want,
so he can stalk you later.
Yeah, or if you want, we'll send it to Jeff's house.
I'll send you stuff too.
Cool.
That'd be great.
That's awesome. Yeah, we appreciate that. I'm a extra little. That's what that stands
little?
for. Extra little.
Oh, that's what the L stands for?
Yes, little.
Oh.
That's what it stands for.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm just extra little.
Extra little. Yeah, extra little. That's funny.
God made you that
guys.
way.
Oh, man.
Been great.
Thank you, Stoney.
Thanks, Stoney. We'll talk to you soon. God bless you, man.
For sure, guys.
All right, thank you.
Good night.
Night, man.
Good night.
So there we go.
Yeah, that was great, man.
That was awesome. I mean, what a great guy.
How often do you get the chance to just kind of talk like you're sitting around a campfire?
And that's the whole premise of our show, and I think that's what these guys like.
Yeah.
I hope that's what they like.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's like we're shooting the shit with old-time friends or new friends. And then people walk up and you, the listener, are sitting with us around our campfire.
Yep.
And we're hanging out with some really fucking cool people.
You just have to watch. You can't ask no questions.
No. No. Well, you know what? You can.
Let us do it.
If you have a question, you see we're going to have somebody, send us
a question. We'll
send us a message. Yeah, we'll ask a question for you, and we'll tag your name to it. I know that when Rick Latham comes on, I've got to mention stuff from Kevin Dean.
Yes, that's right. You're right.
And I'm sure there's going to be wardrobe questions that Tim Moyer might have.
Oh, I hope so.
Well,
what my thing is when and
I had to mention Tim because
I know, but when
know
and
he's
if
listening.
we do him,
What?
when and if we interview him is what I'm
We're not
saying.
going to do him.
No, we're not.
Jesus
However,
Christ. Have you seen his girlfriend?
I want to
She's a
know.
very pretty girl.
Yeah, I want to know how many wardrobe changes he's going to have.
You're such a dick. Tim, I apologize once more. I apologize.
He doesn't.
Yes, he does.
All right, he does.
He has his own dressing room behind the stage at Turning Stone, I think, in the cage.
In the cage?
Yeah,
Oh,
because they play there so much.
right.
I said
They
to
probably
Jay,
named
I
it.
said to J-Ro, I go, you got to just leave all your shit there and buy a second.
They probably named it after him. This is the Tim Moyer changing room.
What do they do for
This is Tiny Tim's changing room.
No, when J-Ro goes in, they have a little dog kennel. This is J-Ro's changing room. He's shorter than Tim.
Yeah, Tiny Tim's changing room.
I hope Tim kicks you in your tiny balls. Do you hear that, Tim?
Go for it.
Kick him in his balls.
I'm ready.
You're not very nice. you're
Whatever.
you're not. You know, this music is very short.
It is.
I think we should say what we're going to say now
Right.
and then do that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Hey, special thanks again to Stoney Curtis.
Absolutely.
Jeff DeTora for popping on. As usual, fucking love
He is
Jeff.
just
And now we love Stoney.
Our GBU alumni.
They are both GBU alumni now.
Yep.
And we want to thank the Print Shop Underground,
Auk Medical Supply,
Sharky's Event Center,
DJ Life's a Beach,
Good Nature Brewery,
Uncle Jimmy's Live Local Music,
the Snarky Productions.
and Toffee Break Toffee.
Don't forget the Toffee Break Toffee.
Can't.
Never sticks in your teeth.
It's weird.
That's what I've been told, at least.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Yeah, that's right. It's time. It's time that we go.
it's time that we're out of here.
You've been listening to The Good,
The Band.
The Ugly. I'm Big Papa.
I'm Jeff.
And you guys are the reason we do this.
You are.
We love you. Thanks for sticking around. And stick around for next week. We got all kinds of good shit coming.
Next week.
Yeah, baby.
Tuesday.
Peace out.
See ya.